Hey, this is Adam Post, publisher of College of the Dead, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books, former executive board member of the public company Platinum Studios that made Cowboys and Aliens, turned it from a comic into a film. But tonight we're going to talk about the Terminator Dark Fate and how it actually so far looks like it's going to lose $120 million. And it's not just me saying so. It's the Hollywood Reporter. It's a bunch of sources. We're going to go over it. It looks like when you get woke, you shall go broke. But you let me know. Let me know what you think about it. Make sure first, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. And go ahead and like this video. Now let's get into this. Terminator Dark Fate. Here's where it started. So I've got 4 different articles I'm going to cover in this. It's not going to be a super long video, but it's going to be long enough to cover where this came from, what the heck happened, and what we should take away from it. At least for my 2 cents. You put in your 2 cents. Let's get 4 cents. Maybe 6 if we can. So this is going back to Comic Book News. This was reported a lot of places. Terminator's director, who was the director of Deadpool. Deadpool was a cool movie. I don't know what happened. The director of Terminator Dark Fate, this is going back to July 15th, 2019, F-bombs the fans. What did he say? So similar to what was going on with the 2016 Ghostbusters vibe, right? The director, Paul Feig, was cursing at fans. Now Tim Miller, who was the director of Terminator Dark Fate, was saying to fans who were objecting to his female casting that, he didn't approve. They should just accept this female cast. There's nothing wrong with having female actors, no longer actresses, they're actors. Obviously, you can have as many female actors as you want. But the problem is when you kind of change everything up just to change their gender. I mean, it would be like, let's say, well, all right, let's just objectively make them all little people, or let's make them all extremely tall people, or extremely obese people, or absurdly skinny people. Like, why is that relevant? It shouldn't be. They should just be good actors following what the franchise and the story is all about. So Tim Miller is attacking the fans here. What is he doing? Tim Miller doesn't see it that way and labels fans that aren't happy with the casting as misogynists, people that hate women, offering that he doesn't give an F. So as he said, if you're at all enlightened, she'll play like gangbusters. If you're a closet misogynist, she'll scare the F out of you because she's tough and strong and very feminine. We did not trade certain gender traits for others. She's just very strong, and that frightens some dudes. You can see online the responses to some of the early SHT. You know what that word is? Bad word. Bad. And that's out there, trolls on the internet. I don't give an F. Well, I mean, look, when you make a product or a service and you're part of making it, you can't do that. You're always soliciting customers. You're always making customers feel welcome. Doesn't mean you can't make your kind of movie. You can. But you need to figure out, like, diplomatically, at least, even if you're going to make a different kind of product than people would like, you have to talk about why your vision is a great vision and you hope that people will give it a chance. You can't just say F everyone who doesn't like it. As they said in the article, they said it's too bad that Miller, the director, feels he has to attack the fans and he was looking forward to the movie, but now he'll probably skip it. If Miller doesn't give an F, why should he? And that's the point. That's the point. Telling people to go F themselves like Paul Feig did in Ghostbusters 2016. It's not effective. It doesn't make money. So when the movie first started getting results, The Wire put this, the Daily Wire put this article out. Get woke, go broke. The Terminator Dark Fate bombs at the box office. I liked some of the take on this. So this is really, it's quite amazing because despite the return of James Cameron, the original director and creator of the franchise, The Terminator, and the reunion of Linda Hamilton, right, there she is, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, those are the main people from The Terminator. Forbes reports that the sci-fi action sequel pulled in a horrific $10.6 million on Friday. So it only made $10.6 million on Friday. $10.6 million is kind of a lot of money to me still. It's kind of a lot. But for an internationally distributed gigantic film that had a budget of $185 million, that is not a big number. They were saying that the film was tracking for $27 million and actually did about $28 million on an inflated budget of $185 million. So budget, the budget is what the budget is. They decide what it is. Sometimes they go over budget. Very rarely they come in under budget. It is just what it is. That's what happens. But $27 million opening is terrible. They were expecting 70 million. And even with 70 million, that wasn't as much as they really wanted to pull. But they're like, well, maybe it'll be kind of soft because we're not getting such good response to what they were doing in early marketing and early feedback. But 27 million. So it's really like very bad. Like maybe 40% of their low number is, you're supposed to get at least the low number or near it, plus 100 million in marketing costs. That makes it the lowest profiting Terminator in franchise history, the smallest numbers. Forbes had more. Terminator Dark Fate just faced Judgment Day once again, earning just 10.16 million on Friday. Okay, so what's new about this? It's essentially just covering the same thing. There's some different markets where they talk about how much they did in China. They actually had help from China. This was distributed in China. It did badly in China too. So how did this happen? And this is what I like about the Daily Wire article here. They picked this up from Society Reviews. And Society Reviews says, Terminator Dark Fate flips everything people loved about Sarah Connor's story on its head in the name of third wave feminism, rendering the events of Terminator 1 and 2 meaningless. So they actually blew the continuity. They blew what they build up in the story. And they said, listen, forget all of that. We're going to give you our third wave feminist take on Terminator. As if who was asking for that? Maybe a few powerful people. But now it's not good. There are fun moments in the movie, but destroying the story is what gets people to be uncomfortable with the movie. Part of the purpose of having a franchise is not just to bait and switch people that, hey, it's got the same name and the same feel to it, but now we're just going to change it up. People don't like change it up. The fan service is a very big part of a franchise. Fan service is when you watch something and you say, yeah, that's what I was looking forward to seeing. You have to have a percentage of that in there. And you can't violate the rules of the franchise or you ruin the franchise value, which is like, then there's no point of having a franchise. Just make a new concept because then you won't let anybody down because it's new. So as they said, let's not beat around the bush. Terminator Dark Fate is an unoriginal disgrace on just about every level. The very fiber of this film comes off as someone who is ashamed that the foundation of this franchise does not fit their current day intersectional feminist worldview. So they decided to change it by repealing and replacing everything they felt was problematic with more progressively friendly elements. Okay. Starting with John Connor, the character who is the primary protagonist of the Terminator franchise is killed in minutes into the film and is completely removed from the equation, only to be replaced by the new hero of Daniela, Danny Ramos. This is why progressive think tanks are killing cinema and entertainment as we know it, because in the world of intersectionality, the only thing they see is a white male action star who just doesn't fit the bill of the modern Hollywood diversity and inclusion agenda, so he must be replaced. If you thought it was bad enough that they made John Connor, a villain in the last movie, the progressive gods decided it was time for him to die, thus rendering the plot of multiple films completely and utterly useless, destroying the history of the film. In specifics, Hollywood Reporter goes on to say here, and this is, of course, a new article, industry reliable source, Hollywood Reporter. Terminator Dark Fate puts franchise on ice, faces 120 million plus loss. Okay, so what they talk about is it did poorly in the U.S. with just 29 million over the first weekend, and it's going to be going down from there. That's what these movies do. Well behind expectations. Overseas, it earned 94.6 million, including a lackluster Chinese launch of 28 million for a global 123 million. Dark Fate faces losses of 120 million plus for partners Skydance Media, Paramount Pictures, and 20th Century Fox. So why is it including all three of these companies? Because these three different companies combined split the costs of financing this movie. That's not really uncommon. They share the risk, they share the rewards. Skydance Media, you may never have heard of. They are a Los Angeles-based investment company that raised $350 million, and they invest in a lot of movies with Paramount. they're going to lose it on this one. They were behind the relaunch, other Terminator relaunches, and they lost money too. So they each put up 30% of the $185 million budget. What a way to spend $60 million. They could have each just done the Joker, right? So the red ink could end up to 130 million if it doesn't hold well internationally, meaning the numbers don't stay up. The losses could be closer to 110 million if it does have strong legs offshore. So the best that they're looking at here is maybe we only lose 110 million dollars, or roughly 35 million, a little plus between the three of them. After all that effort to lose 35 million dollars. Oh my God! All right, so Ellison is the guy who is in control of the property, Skydance Media. He launched Terminator Genesis in 2015, which cost more than 150 million to produce. Before marketing, grossed 440 million. It wasn't a financial disaster. It earned more than 100 million in China alone, but faltered in the US, where it topped out at 89 million. Terminator Genesis was supposed to be the first of a trilogy, but critics didn't like it, and it didn't do well. So Terminator Dark Fate is supposed to be a direct sequel to Terminator 1 and 2, which is what made it even uglier, because they, now have essentially destroyed the franchise. All right. It's just a really sad thing to see, because it's just a horrific mishandling of the Terminator franchise, of something that built up, as a small part of a lot of people's lives who really cared about the project, really cared about the movie. Are they going to continue to do this? I don't know. I don't know. Skydance is an independent company, so why they wouldn't be more about financials and just making sure they make things that make money and make sense, I can't say. This was in Breitbart. This is actually the first article I happened to come across, and I like that they cited numbers. They cited numbers here, and so look. Variety reports that this is mind-blowing. Terminator Dark Fate will end its box office run with an uninspiring 180 to 200 million globally. This is going to top out at 200 million worldwide max total dollars. They brought back Linda Hamilton. They brought back James Cameron, and it's going to bottom out at 200 million globally. How big of a fail is that? It's a good question, but I like how they put these numbers in. So the original Terminator grossed 80 million globally, which is closer to 220 million with inflation, because the value of money reduces over time consistently, money inflation. So when you have an $80 million movie from 1984, when you compare 1984 dollars to 2019 dollars, that's equivalent to $220 million. Now you have your inflation lesson. And as it says, don't forget, Terminator was not considered a big hit in theaters. Most of it was found on VHS. So VHS videotapes, hopefully you remember what those are. If not, that was like before internet, before YouTube. It's how we watch movies. Terminator Rise of Machines in 2003, which everybody believes underperformed, did 443 million worldwide. Terminator Salvation was also considered a disappointment, did 371 million worldwide. Terminator Genesis in 2015 did 440 million worldwide. And Dark Fate is going to do, at best, 200 million worldwide. Now, there are all sorts of strong female characters. You don't need to have absurd third-wave feminist female characters taking over what was a traditionally male franchise. In fact, Linda Hamilton was a strong female character, feminine. She was beautiful, and she was powerful. And as this article pointed out, I like this about the article as well, going back some 50 years, going back to Pam Grier, Sigourney Weaver in Aliens, Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2, Mila Jovovich, hopefully I pronounced that right, in 6 Resident Evil movies. America accepted female action heroes. There's no question. But, what we don't need the feminist lectures. We had Hunger Games, Salt, Long Kiss Goodnight, Tomb Raider, Kill Bill, Charlie's Angels, Wonder Woman, Mad Max Fury Road, Silence of the Lambs, Lucy, Underworld. It goes on and on and on. We had strong, cool, powerful female characters. And not all of them were beautiful. No offense to any of them, but they weren't all. But they were cool. And they had action hero potential to them. And it was interesting to watch. But no, they weren't feminist enough, and they didn't degrade male characters enough. And so now we have this junk. All right. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you think this is why the movie failed. that they went too nuts with the third wave feminist junk. And if not, tell me what otherwise you think. And some people think that it was the movies prior to this that really didn't give this movie a chance because they were so they just weren't that great. You know, they didn't have everything going for it that this movie should have had. Didn't have James Cameron on them. So tell me what you think in the comments below. Be sure you subscribe. Be sure you click the bell for notifications. And also check out my graphic novel online at collegeofthedead.com. I'll see you again soon.